Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
What's happening? Okay, this week is Cover Song Challenge Week. I challenged everyone to cover a Dead Milkmen song. Well, I say that, everyone. Rodney challenged me, and I challenged Joe, and Joe challenged Dan, and Dan challenged Rodney. So the song that Rodney challenged me to cover was Now I Want to Hold Your Dog. And it's a very sprightly song with lots of electric guitars. And so I decided, what's that?
The original is sprightly.
Yeah, the original. So I decided to cover it as a German krautrock song in the style of
Krautrock.
in the style of Kraftwerk. So let's take a listen now, shall we?
I see you shopping in that fancy store. They won't even let me in the front door. Please just let me hold your dog. I just wanna hold your dog. Some call it class warfare, but I call it love. Some call it class warfare, but I call it love. Some call it class warfare, but I call it love. Please just let me hold your dog. The cat's in the cradle, but the dog's in your bed. And I've got eyes in my head. Ain't I good enough just to hold your...
I thought if you put that song on like a Can album from 1974, it would have fit. I was really impressed. I love krautrock, so I thought that was a great representation of the form.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Any other questions about it?
I have lots of questions.
Okay, well, I can tell you a little bit. I listened to Kraftwerk's song, The Model, about 50 bazillion times to get some ideas on how to do that song. There's all kinds of interesting things in the song, The Model, including like the little choir part and the little da, 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 that's in there too. So yeah, I listened to I was just walking around with Kraftwerk's The Model in my head for about 2 weeks. So I had a lot of fun with it. I had tried some other things. I tried extending the song. I put a little solo section in it there for a while, but I said, nah, it's just right as our arrangement. So I kept it as is.
Did you use the Micro Freak? Was every sound from the Micro Freak, or how much of it was the Micro Freak?
I think one or two tracks was the Micro Freak. One of them was I used some VSDs for one or two tracks. I thought about using the model samples for the drums, but I ended up coming up with a pretty good drum kit using the drum program inside of Cubase for that. I did like the kick and hi-hat, and then I had a snare on the second on a second track, and yeah, that's about it. I had fun with the vocals. When you listen to it, you heard the love sound. I like triple track that, and I used the I have a VST of the Eventide harmonizer. I think it's a 910 harmonizer, and that's got some really weird, cool sounds in it. So I have like 3 tracks of vocals just for the word love.
The accent was great too.
Yeah, that was
and I used Google Translate for my translation, so I
was wondering about that.
I can't vouch for the accuracy of the German.
It sounds very authentic.
It was yeah, I speak a good chunk of German. It was good. And if you want to know, by the way, speaking of the model, what a horrible person I am. I once was covering the model live somewhere, and I had Joe sing it, and I handed him the lyrics, but I had written a whole bunch of lyrics as a whole bunch of dirty words that rhyme, but he didn't read off the sheet. The joke fell apart. I was like, oh, because I wanted him to get there and start cursing. So I'm a terrible person. But yeah, that was very.
Oh, yeah, I remember that show. I didn't realize that you wanted me to. Well, whatever. You have to tell me these things.
All right. Well, there you go. Anybody else have any questions about it?
What I imagine you were lip syncing, or did you actually record yourself when you were singing it on the track?
No, when I did my little appearance singing, I was actually lip syncing to the song.
And what did you use to edit the video?
Because I'm a graphic designer, I have the Adobe suite of tools, the Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Suite, I guess they call it. And they have a stripped down version of, what is their program? Premiere, I think?
Premiere, yeah.
They have a little video program called Premiere Rush, which is like the pedestrian, super simplified version of video editing tool. It only allows you you can have an audio track plus 4 tracks of video. And it's a little tricky to edit cut different scenes in and stuff. And then they have just some basic like text on screen type stuff. I mean, it gets the job done, but it takes me a long time to use it just because I'm not very adept at the video stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, nice dogs too.
The dogs were, I like dogs.
Yeah, the dogs come from, there's a site out there called Pexel, PEXEL.com, and it's like a free image and video site, and that's where I got the doggies.
In
sharp looking hound.
In Empire State Human by the Human League, there's a shot of cats, and when Phil Oakey talks about it, it's me standing on some things and some cats. I rather like cats.
So anyway, there you go. Bob's your uncle.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
And a vast improvement upon the original.
All right.
Yeah, I got your email, or your original email. We had like the idea. So I wound up doing 2. So I'm going to have to speak quickly here. The first one, when I first got the first email, I was like, oh, work, an assignment, yay. So I thought, oh, quick, I want to do a cover. And I always wanted to do a cover of Caitlin Childs because it's my wife Deanna's favorite Dead Milkmen song. She loves it. I like the song a lot, but it's like verse, chorus, and it gets kind of samey. That's like the worst thing. And Brian McTeer had said maybe cut out a verse. Wait, do the clip. I'll show the clip and then I'll explain what I was up to.
Communism in reality is not a political party. It is a way of life, an evil and malignant way of life. It reveals a condition akin to disease that spreads like an epidemic. And like an epidemic, a quarantine is necessary to keep it from infecting this nation.
Little girl, come shake this world, shake it right to its core. Make it clear the revolution is here.
We're back. So what happened was I thought, do what Dean, with removing the solo, I think take every song, make it little less than 3 minutes, be like the Ramones, and rip out the solos. So I thought that would be a sort of improvement upon the tune, and I worked very hard on it. I like you did with the triple tracking, I recorded track after track and was using the, and I wanted this to be all hardware. So I used all the stuff you see behind me, that all ended up in there. So everything you see in the video, that was actually used on it. So I used the NTS for effects. I did the trick where when you change to the second verse, you put a little bit delay on the snare, so I had double snares. I think the thing I got most right was the kick drum. And the kick drum is on my free sounds page. So if you're smart, young people, listen, go out and get that kick drum called the Caitlin kick and use that on something. So I was really super happy with that. Yeah, and that's just what I did. I just did that part. And so before I move on to the thing I did as penance, do we have any questions about the Caitlin cover?
No, I mean, it sounds great. You know, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, that is a great song to begin with. So
it is a great song, yeah.
Some good material to work with.
Yeah, it's good. It was kind of tough.
Maybe Seventh Victim could do that. I could picture Janet singing that with you too, if you did Seventh.
But I always, if I can get a hold of another singer other than me, I do. So yeah, it's all stored. It's all stored on the beat step back here, so I can bring it back to life. Although I can't do both drums at once because I can't play double drums from the Korg sample. That's the bad news. But the good news is my Korg sample is not the OK Go version of the Korg sample. Oh. I'll send Joe a picture of that so he can you can see what that is, and then you guys will cry. So then as penance, because I got done that, and I thought, oh, I could probably get done another song. So Dan had suggested covering Sri Lanka Sex Hotel, which is a bad song. This song is like a lesson in what not to do. It is, Dean, you're about the only one who escapes blame on this. The bass riff itself is good, but it's very clanky. So I thought, in a way, it kind of needs to be that. So I used we'll do I gotta explain to. So show the clip, and then I'll explain.
Let's have sex with strangers in the men's room. We can do it and not get caught. Burn down the house where the metal kids live. All the boys on posters going up in flames. Let's burn it down and knock it over. When you take my hope, so long to die. Let's play Big Black at 3 a.m. Tell the neighbors they can all get.
And we're back, and I'm explaining. So I wanted to make it kind of a mirror image of Caitlin Childs, which was all hardware. So I did this one all in the box using every trick I could think of in the box. I used the vocoder. I used I basically went down and got every synth sound I could, and I worked really super hard on it, and I wanted it to mirror the other one. So it's about Caitlin, so it's about the same time length, and it has samples in the beginning. It's got samples during the break, but really, Sri Lanka Sex Hotel, just an awful song. It's the my vocals are parts. The lyrics are not good. There's one good line. Why isn't Bob Hope dead yet? What?
It's like a Salvador Dali painting to me.
It is.
I always
I don't know why. The guitar is so high and trebly in the mix that it appears on tracks on either side of it. It is just
this amazing breakdown in the song with you guys break down like a little.
Oh, the slow part's awful. I actually was kind of making fun of it in my version where I had that little break in there. It's just like Vienna, actually, she'd never heard it. So when I was working on it, she went and brought up the original on Spotify. I was like, what is this? What? But I like the Bob Hope, why is he dead yet? Because people will walk up to me to this day on the street and say, for God's sake, why isn't Bob Hope dead yet? Or, hey, Bob Hope's dead. And it takes for it to register.
It was much longer after that song.
What?
He lived a lot longer after that. Like he was.
I tried to stop him. So I took that as my jumping off point, sort of, and thought, I'll focus on that. And I wanted to make the song sound sort of like future punk. So that's why it sounds the way it does.
It does sound futuristic.
It's excellent.
What is the video? Is that a video game?
What happened was,
I'm not familiar.
I was watching footage of this guy had gotten a hold of a piece of equipment from the mid-90s, and it came with a CD-ROM, and he put the CD-ROM in his computer, and it was horrible. It looked a lot like that video. It was like this little thing at the bottom, like a starter field. So I went and looked up a bunch of early stuff that would arrive on disc in the mid-90s, and there would be like some sort of QuickTime feature, and then there'd be a bunch of stuff that looked like it was done in MS Paint. And I thought, oh, the worst that is. And then it says Lieutenant Dan Stevens as the character, because Dan had asked me to do that. And it's got like number of Bob Hopes that you get per, so it's like a bad space game is what it is. If you look carefully, you'll see the stuff is done in yellow, so it's very like a bright yellow, so it's hard to see purposely. But yeah, I wanted it to look like a bad, something you would get as a CD-ROM. Yeah, like if you got a Gamer magazine in 1980 some, and it was like shareware. Like, oh, I can't wait to play this. So, yeah.
Cool.
Excellent job. Yeah.
Thank you, Seth.
Okay.
Joe?
Dean challenged me to do Little Man in his head.
My head.
A Little Man in my head, not his head. All right. I hope I got the right song. And we're going to watch it.
There's a little man in my head, and he's drunk all of the time. He sits there on a bench, holding a monkey wrench. Sometimes he beats it against my mind. There's a little man in my head, and I don't think he likes it there. I do bad things, but it's his fault. He knows that he can't get caught. That little man, he just don't pay fair. There's a little man in my head, and he must have lived
back.
Okay. So that song, also not one of my favorite songs to do. I was a little apprehensive about doing it. I like the bass riff. I never liked the way I played guitar on the original. I don't know why I played it that way. The fast, chunky, like ska thing, and it sounds like the rest of the band is doing a fast reggae beat, and here I am just playing away this weird. I don't know. Why didn't anybody tell me not to do that? I don't know. But I do like the bass line. That's the Dave Blood bass riff. So I learned it, or at least I thought I learned it, and programmed it into FL Studio on bells. And then I listened back and said, this doesn't sound right. And listened back to the CD again of the original, and I said, the bass line shifts a lot. It doesn't play the same pattern like the exact same pattern over and over again. And I just programmed 2 patterns for the thing. And I realized, it sometimes goes da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, then sometimes it goes da-da-da-da-da, and then there's another pattern that shifts too. So there's actually 4 patterns instead of 2, and I had to reprogram it that way. And then I had to learn that now I played that on the bass using the Thor, not the actual bass. And then I programmed it again on FL Studio using a stringed bowed bass. I did the guitar part with just the 2 and 4 upstrokes. You can hardly hear it, because then at the very last minute I decided to play keyboards for that part, sort of like the Specials do on their second album, more keyboardy. And I thought, that's actually makes it sound a little better than it would with just the guitar. So then I became a little happier.
I love all the photos of Dave.
Yeah, I thought, it'll be easy if I just take photos and collage them, but then I got carried away with it. It wasn't easy at all. Time.
And you used my image without my permission. You will be hearing from my lawyer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I did ask. I'm sorry. I just figured the Dead Milkmen would automatically give me permission.
So Matt Dubin and Dan Mapp a couple times.
They did give me permission. I asked them on email.
Along with Richard Ramirez. And at the
I
end,
didn't ask those people.
There's a photo credit for Richard Ramirez. That's the best part of the video. People,
no spec.
Put it up. Watch it all the way to the end. I know we're showing 30 seconds.
Richard Speck.
It's Richard Speck. Because I took it off.
Yeah, it makes sense. Chicago.
I took it. Wikipedia page said that I had to do that, so I did.
Unknown Dallas police officer.
I guess I could have just put it in the comments of in the description also.
I don't know.
But yeah, that was it.
Dan's got a lot of explaining to do.
Do I? Well, I was given the song I Tripped Over the Ottoman, challenged by Joe. And it's funny, it just came to me almost immediately. I was like, I took the lyrics out and I read it, and I was like, it's really dark. And I thought, I feel like maybe if you take like the comedy out of it, it's kind of dark. It's like a guy who's lost his mind and he's going to kill the people he works with. So I guess we could watch it.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we could see the clip first. We have to explain it. Yeah.
Until I lost my mind.
That clip because if you can handle those 30-some seconds of it, then maybe you will be able to watch the whole thing. It's like
that's the one thing we should have mentioned, that we're showing excerpts here in this episode.
30
the
seconds.
Full videos will be available on the Dead Milkmen website.
Did we have a time? Was
Our YouTube channel.
That mine is like 5 minutes. I think.
Yeah, that's why
There's no time limit, but if we showed the whole videos, this video here would be like I don't know. Think of the long, like the Lord of the
I
Rings
already did.
trilogy.
I
That's how
already
long
made,
it
I already made my 30
Yeah,
seconds.
go to the Dead Milkmen YouTube channel, and you can watch the full videos
Yeah,
for
they'll be
all
up around
4
the same
songs.
time.
5
as this.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all 5.
Anyway, sorry, Dan.
You might
didn't
even
count.
embed
No.
some in this.
Cool. The kids helped me out a lot with it, conceptually, costumes, and they shot everything that was of me. And yeah, I was a little worried about it because they had heard the original song, but then I played them like a scratch with the beat and just like the beat and the bass and I think my vocals or something, and they were like, yeah, it is really dark. And then at the end they were like, what are you gonna do in the video when it's like I brought you death? And I was like, I was like, maybe I could come in with a big bag like that looks like a dead body. And they were like, and one of the, I can't remember which one, it might have been Charlie because he went vegetarian, but he was like, what about hamburgers or whatever? And I was like, oh, I was gonna cook hamburgers tonight anyway. So I did. And then I was like, oh, that's death, it's making a statement. But I ate one of those burgers anyway. So you know what was funny? I think the most remarkable thing about this for me was accidentally getting it done early. I had this, I don't mean to wax like and whatever, but I usually do everything, like I usually finish everything the day it's due. And I didn't realize until this experience that part of me does that on purpose, because I think I almost feel like there's more to come, until the very, you know what I mean? Like I can keep adding things from whatever I'm experiencing each day or whatever. So like last Wednesday night, I was like, oh my God. And I was like almost finished the video. I was like, I'm not going to be done the video by tomorrow. And all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, what? Oh my God, it's next week. I was like, I have a whole week. And it felt really good because even through school, like even high school and middle school, like I would never early, either late, like either on time and half done, or like the next day or days later or never. And this experience was cool because it made me realize like I can take my time with something and like keep adding to it until Chrissy says, oh, you're a perfectionist. And I was like, no, because I hear mistakes. I could point out a dozen mistakes, not only in the track but in the video.
Oh, I could in mine too.
Oh yeah, mine as well. But you
Both
can
of
only
mine are goddamn perfect.
I had a really great time, and the kids helped me with it. And I got a little crazy when I was editing it, and they would be like, Dad, are you still? And I'd be like, ah. And
It makes Eraserhead look like My Little Pony.
Did they hear the song before they made the costumes for you? Is that where they was inspired by anything?
It was really kind of organic, and I did it in a way that I've been toying with for a while, like taking each of them individually and saying like, okay, I'm going to take an hour with you, because I get, spending so much time with them, I see like what strengths each of them have and how they can apply it to what part of the video or song needs to be done. And when I said, you guys want to be in it as the kids or whatever, and they were like, yeah, sure. I was like, all right.
So you use child labor. Way to go, Kathy Lee. Later when you're in a little sweatshop there. Yeah, what did you use for the drums on that, by the way? Because I want to get that drum sound.
FL Studio, like the FL Studio that you gave me?
FL Studio, but just, do you remember which drum kit?
Probably there were two different kick drums. One of them might have been club kick, and the other could have been one of the hip hop kicks that has like the record sound in it. But what I always do with stuff is like I'll go into piano roll and drop it an octave to make it. Yeah. And then with the snare, I added like a little echo, like a reverb on it. I get really crazy about beats, like, and how that is where I get like perfectionist, because everything has to be, like when I'm recording the keyboard stuff, like I do it like live with each track. Mm-hmm. And like I don't punch in or anything. I just kind of like try to nail it because I don't have time for that.
Well, it sounds great. Looks great too.
Excellent. It's disturbing.
So thanks everybody. That was great. Everybody
Yeah.
did a great job.
It's time for recommendations from the Dead
Oh,
Milkmen.
okay. Do I guess I go
None of
first.
the Dead Milkmen have been paid or given anything.
All right. So I guess I go first again, right?
Yep.
All right. So just today in the mail, well, about 2 weeks ago now, I received a little magic box called the Midihub, which is a 4-in, 4-out, and USB junction box that has a piece of software that runs on your computer, and you can create what they call pipes, where you can take the input of A and you can do all kinds of magic tricks to it and output it to output A or all 4 outputs, or I think you can output it up to 8 different outputs because there's a USB virtual outputs as well. Anyway, so as a result, I needed more MIDI cables. So today I received in the mail like 10 MIDI cables. So I was going to recommend, they're not that expensive, the Hosa brand
Yes.
MIDI cables. I've got some 5-foot and some 3-foot MIDI cables. They're well made, their connectors are pretty good, and you know, I think they're just dandy and fine. So now I have enough cables to hook a multitude of my gear together. So that's my recommendation for this week, the Hosa MIDI cables, and you know, if you're so inclined, the Midihub, which is a pretty interesting magic box.
I use. Let me see.
Is that DC powered, or how you have to plug it in, or is it battery powered or something?
It's USB powered.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool.
Yep.
You can just.
Yeah.
I use all Hosa MIDI cables except for this MIDI cable, which I've had since I think 87.
Yeah,
So
when you hook
like
up
the
your,
oldest, and it's gigantic. Look at
yeah,
that.
the thing was, I looked at my pile of cables and I had like 2 20-foot MIDI cables, and they made me 2 5-footers. So I realized I needed a bunch of shorter ones. That's why.
This little thing is all these going in here are Hosas. Okay, so time to recommend a band and a thing. The band is Ego Likeness, so I should have mentioned a long time ago, but they have a new album out, first one in a while, called Wolves. It's sort of a remix. This is a band that means a lot to me. I've been a fan of theirs for like 20 years, and I became friends with them. Donna, if you listen to our song "Welcome to the End of the World," that's Donna from Ego Likeness speaking in French on it, and she actually gave me the line "Welcome to the End of the World." So yeah, they're great people. There's side projects. Steve has a thing called Stoneburner. It's a good musical rabbit hole to go down, and they do other things. They do art, they do writing. So just go and we'll get with Ego Likeness links and stuff. But yeah, it's once you go down there, and Song of Samiel will change your life. It's fantastic. All right, so that and the thing I'm recommending is Convolution Reverbs. We forget about them, but they're beautiful. I was doing the hardware thing, and then I was using all the buses from my mixer to run the effects through, and particularly reverbs. And somebody pointed out, why don't you just make a convolution reverb of your reverbs that you have here? So the way you make convolution reverb is you get an impulse, which is a sound. You can hit a drum, you can bang something, and then just record it in stereo. When you put it in the convolution reverb, it will give you the sound of where you are. I once went to the basement of Edgar Allan Poe's house where he wrote The Black Cat, and they let me smack on stuff, and I got convolution reverbs, so I have the sound of Edgar Allan Poe's basement. Whenever I'm in a studio, I try to record one in case I need to go back and do something from home and send it to the studio. I can kind of match it a little bit. And also people say, like, I really like the old, lexicon, whatever, the warm room sound. You can get that. All you need is the convolution reverb. So again, just, convolution reverbs, use them. All right, so those are my 2 recommendations for this week.
I recommend wearing a mask.
Yes.
In public spaces, and they're not that hard to wear. And I recommend having several of them, actually. If you can't afford to buy one, this one is actually not that expensive, and I got it from Vista Print, that same company that makes business cards. They make masks now, and the neat thing is that you have disposable filters that can go inside them.
Well, that's pretty cool.
You can buy 10 packs. And
Double up your mask.
I made this using rubber bands and just some thread and an old pair of underwear and an old sheet. It's not bad. It's very comfortable.
You didn't wash them, right?
Yeah, you wash them. Oh, you wash them. You're supposed to wash the material before you make it into a mask, so that that's what they say anyway. Oh, and there's maybe I'll put a link to where you can get the patterns to make them. And somebody who watches our videos sent me this one.
Their underwear?
He made it Angel Paul.
Oh, nice.
And it's Star Wars. And
Nice.
so
Oh, that's
I have like 5 or 6 of them all very stylish.
professionally did it with the
Yes, people, please wear masks.
Yeah, and when you're in public, when you're
It's scary. We didn't plan on reaching for the mask. We all happened to keep them nearby. That's
keep one next to your door. Keep one. I keep one in my glove compartment of my car in case I forget.
Yep, I have multiples in my glove compartment in case people get into my car who are not going to get into my
And then
car.
after you use them, wash them. So that's
Yep.
why it's good to have several. And you can even hand wash them in soap and water and just hang them to dry quick.
So would a knit one be pointless, I guess?
You know,
Probably.
a knit yarn one? No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Too porous, unless you put a liner in it.
Like a fashion. That in 20 years would be cool. It'd be like a fashion.
Government can't make me
The
wear
leather
no
one
mask.
might work, but it might be hot in the summer.
They told me I couldn't feed my son Cooter pennies. I fed him pennies. Yeah. Sorry. During government getting in my business. Dan, do you have a recommendation other than I see a shrink?
Brush your teeth,
Yes.
at least. And I'm not even going to say 3 times a day, because who the hell has time for that, really?
Well, yeah, if you're wearing a mask, you're
Yeah,
smelling.
if you're wearing a mask, but seriously, masks have made people get dental
You know what?
hygiene. Take it
Someone should
seriously.
have done something. There's like a breath freshener thing that you put inside a mask. So it's like a filter. Like you can be like, hey, how you doing? You got onion rings. So I brush your teeth. Also, take, this is for everybody watching and you guys too. Take one moment sometime within the next week where you you stop yourself when you feel you've assumed something about another person and think the opposite. Just pretend, just for fun. You can go right back to assuming and, you know, being presumptuous about them. But just for a second, think the opposite.
I'm going to assume everyone is 11 feet tall and has a 3-foot glowing penis.
Get in there.
Gotta be right sooner or later. Odds, this
I
law
only
statistic.
got the enlarger a week ago in the mail. Give me some time. I'm up to.
Well, I think that was our episode. Thanks again, everybody, for doing those covers. They were great.
Government can't make me watch the full versions.
Yeah.